Hello, everybody. We can go ahead and get started here. My name is Nicholas Cook, and I am the founder of Money 101 Academy. And so just do a little introduction here, and then we'll get to some questions. So you had an opportunity to ask a question ahead of time, or if you want to join in today in the chat, you can ask a question. But first off, just want to introduce myself. As I said, my name is Nicholas, and I have a background both in finance and in teaching. So I previously had a career as a financial advisor for several years. Did various kinds of financial planning and let's see here. I helped manage over $40 million. So quite a bit of money there and helping clients with that. Also have some teaching experience, teaching personal finance, stock market classes, both at a college, and I'll be teaching part-time at a high school, some personal finance here in coming up here soon in the fall. And so just wanted to merge those two things together. And that's why I created Money 101 Academy, a place where we can talk about personal finance, hopefully around a good community here, but also from like my teaching background, kind of merge those two things together. So today is just a chance to ask questions. There's a chat box, so you can type in a question if you have a question you want to ask. And so anything about money, personal finance, maybe you want to ask about, I don't know, life insurance or 401ks or cryptocurrency or budgeting, maybe not sure what to do with gas prices going up and food prices going up. So it's open to you. This is your chance to ask what you want to ask. And let's see here. I'll just give a quick disclaimer. When I was a financial advisor, when we taught at a college, had to just say that, this is for educational purposes. I don't know your particular situation. What exactly is going on with you. So it's hard to give advice, specific advice for you. So this is for educational purposes. Make sure to, meet with a tax advisor or financial advisor to go over your particular situation. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. And I do have, we'll start with a question that was somebody sent to me about what is a Roth IRA, and is that something I should invest in? So there are two different kinds of IRA. There's a Roth IRA and there's a traditional IRA. The way that they're taxed is differently. Think of it like a bucket. And so you can take any kind of asset and put it in that bucket, the Roth IRA bucket. So for example, you can take a CD like you would have at the bank, or a stock or a mutual fund, anything, and put it inside the Roth IRA bucket. When it goes in the Roth IRA bucket, it's taxed differently. Basically, you pay tax on it. You'll pay your income tax before you put it in the bucket. And then once it goes from your bank account or wherever into the Roth IRA, wherever you have it, maybe it's with Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or some custodian, some brokerage account, then it's no longer taxed again. It's going to grow tax-free. And so when you go to take it out, you have to wait till I believe the tax code currently is 59.5. So you'll have to wait till then. It's a retirement account. If you could take it out earlier, there'll be penalties and taxes, and it's going to add up. But if you wait till 59.5 or older, then you're not going to pay taxes on it. It's going to be tax-free. So it's a really good way to grow money over time and to preserve that money without having to pay taxes on it later. So that is a Roth IRA. And so you really just need to know your own situation if this is something that you should invest in. It's important to make sure that you have enough money in case there's emergencies. If, you get car problems or somebody in your family gets real sick, those are things that it's kind of you're gonna have to pay all these penalties and stuff if you're gonna need to take it out early. So make sure you have some. So it's important to have some type of emergency fund already in place. And so, there's a lot to think about if you want to decide if it's a right time to do a Roth IRA. And so basically just a bucket that can grow tax free, and you can put mutual funds, stocks, CDs, money market. I mean, various different ways to invest in it. And anything else I want to say? I guess the last thing I'll say is it can be a very good way to grow money. Sometimes you may have heard the term dollar cost averaging. So that's putting in money, for example, every month. And over time, you might be buying when the market's up or down, if it's a stock or a mutual fund or an ETF. But over time, dollar cost averaging from the history of the stock market has shown us that you're going to make, like in the S&P 500, at least somewhere between 9 and 11% or so over time. That's at least 10 to 20 years historically. No guarantees in the future, but that's how it's always been up to this point. So it can be a good way to grow money. So let's see here. Do we have anybody else want to ask a question here? You can just type it in the text box here on YouTube, and we'll get to your questions. So we have another question from Anthony, and Anthony was asking if he should convert his traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. So this is an option. You do have the option to convert if you have a traditional IRA, which we didn't talk about, but it's also a retirement account that's designed to not be touched until you're at least 59 and a half. And it's traditional IRAs are tax deferred. So that means that you don't pay taxes on it. It goes straight out of you won't pay taxes on it initially when you put the money into the traditional IRA bucket. But when you go to take the money out, then you'll pay taxes. So you can still benefit from this. This is still a great way to grow wealth over time, but you will pay taxes later. So part of it depends on what your tax bracket is later when you plan to take the money out. If your tax bracket's going to be a lot lower, it could be that a traditional IRA is better. But anyways, you can take money out of a traditional IRA and move it to a Roth IRA. It's called a Roth IRA conversion. And so it's actually really easy to do. Let's say you have your money with, TD Ameritrade, and you can, they should have a form you would fill out for a Roth IRA conversion. And you would just write down how much money you're moving out of the traditional into the Roth IRA. The important thing to remember is when you convert the money over to a Roth IRA, it's going to be taxed. So remember, traditional IRAs are tax deferred. So whenever you take the money out, whether it's 59 and a half or older, or if you take it out to convert it to a Roth IRA, the taxes are deferred till you take the money out of the account, out of the bucket. So when you take the money out of the traditional IRA, you're going to pay taxes on it, and any gains of your investment going up, you'll pay taxes on that. And then it'll go to the Roth IRA bucket, and then it'll grow tax-free from then on out. So it could be a good way. It could be a good idea, possibly. Depending on your situation, depending on what you think your tax bracket might be when you take money out of the Roth IRA. So I think that's the main thing about it, about a Roth IRA conversion. It would be a good idea to, talk with your CPA or financial planner, just to look at your particular situation, because it may or may not make sense for you to do that. But it is an option. It's good to be aware of that. And so that is your answer to the question, Anthony. If you have any follow-ups, feel free to type those in the chat box here. And so today we may just end up talking about Roth IRAs, which is fine. Any other questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Any question at all about personal finance, I'm happy to take a stab at it. So while you're thinking here, maybe asking that one last burning question, I'm going to say a few more things. If you haven't already subscribed to the Money 101 Academy channel, please do, so you can get future updates on personal finance education. Please like this video. And I also want to point out a course or a class that is available for you to take. After over 20 years, I've had both professionally and personally investing in the stock market. So helping people professionally as a financial advisor, I've done that for several years. And I put together this class that I think is super important to understand if you have any intention about thinking about using investing in the stock market, mutual funds, ETFs, any of that as a way to grow wealth for retirement, which is one way to do it. It's very hard to just put money in a savings account or CD and let that money grow, because it can barely even keep up with inflation a lot of times. So this is an important class to just understand some important things about this idea of investing in the stock market. It's free. So I made it for you for free. It's in the description box below the video here. If you want to just click on that, click the link to sign up for it. There's a few reflection questions I put with the class as well to help bring this home to you, apply it to your own situation. And so that's my gift to you, to take that class, and I'll be interested to know what you think. And again, it's an important, I think it's really important class. So let's see here. I think that's about it, everybody, today, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your questions. Let me know in the comments below if you got something out of this, maybe if you want to try this again. And hope you guys have a great day.